With Desmos, it might ask you, you could actually save your work in Desmos, your graphs that is, but you do have to have an account. I mean, it's free to do. You can use a Google account. I think you might be able to use an Apple account, I think. But I know Google, which is a free account to make, you know, like if you have a Google email address. That's why you can see the word Adam up here, my name. But again, you can make a free account if you want. And Desmos, you can actually, I'm not sure if you could do all this on your phone, but I know Desmos does have a graphing app you can download onto your phone. I have one on my iPhone. You know, it makes your phone into a graphing calculator, essentially. So, you know, good stuff. All right, so that's just an example I just felt better presenting. I really hope that made sense. I mean, this won't be on the second test, okay? This won't. It'll be on the final. Well, I mean, I'm not sure if I'll have you guys graph something, but chapter 10 could be on the final. That's better to say. All right. So that's here, okay? And again, let me get back to the notes. Okay, let me share the notes. Here we go. All right. So we did that. Again, this is basically the same box plot that I drew, you know, here. You can see, I mean, it looks a little, I mean, it doesn't look as nice, I guess, if you want, but it's the same thing. All right, so that's what we have. Are there any questions about that? I have a few more examples before we move on to chapter 12. Chapter 12 is the last chapter, so just let you know. Okay. So here's just a few backup examples, so to say. I figured it'd be good to do this for a word problem. You know, this came from the book, okay? So let's assume there are 65 randomly selected car salespeople, okay? And, you know, the people that sell you cars at a dealership, that kind of thing. So we asked them, I guess, you know, for whatever reasons, how many cars do they in general sell in a week? Well, 14 people answered that they sell 3, 19 answered they sell 4, 12 answered they sell 5, 9 answered they sell 6, and so on, and 11 answered they sell 7. What I want us to do is to find the 5-number summary for the data set. Now, to make this a little bit easier, okay, we should organize the data somehow. So what I decided to do, at least, was to put it into a frequency table. Okay. And I put some notes over here as well, as you can see. You know, there's 65 people in the sample that's given to us. And the data values we're dealing with is how many cars are sold in a week. And the frequency, you know, is how many people responded to each, you know, how many people that responded saying they sold 3 cars. You know, like 14 people sold 3 cars in a week. So 14 would be the frequency with 3. 19, okay, that's the frequency that are sold with 4 cars per week. So 19 is associated with 4. Okay, we're mostly working with our data set, technically, I guess, would be the number of cars generally sold. But again, each one has a frequency. It's kind of like with the exam scores, right? That you want to analyze exam scores. You know, so some people, a bunch of people might get a 90 on the test, you know, then there's a frequency with that kind of thing. Or like with the example with favorite colors. We wanted to see whose favorite color was, how many people had a favorite color of blue, how many people had a favorite color of green, and for each one there was a frequency. So that's what we're doing, okay? Keep in mind also, if you add up the frequencies, you have to get the sample size, which is 65 here. See this. I hope everyone's with me so far. Let me just ask that. Does this make sense? If there's any questions, don't be afraid to ask me. No, I really want to make sure everyone's learning this. That's my goal. I mean, basically, again, we're just making a frequency table. I'm just, getting us ready for the setup, so to say. Now, for the 5-number summary, that's going to be, well, it's not going to be terrible, but it's going to be different. Mostly because we're not going to lay out all the data. We just have a frequency table. So I think it looks like people are generally so far okay here. So that's good at least. All right. Okay. So I'm just basically setting up what's happening. That's all I'm trying to do. Okay. All right, let's get back to what the, oh, sorry, wrong button. Let's, I don't think I need this. Let me just, I just closed Desmos. Good. All right, let's get back to this. Okay, so we have our frequency table. And this is the data we want to analyze. Everything in this frequency table. Okay. Now what's nice is normally you have to sort the data values, right? Your data, which is how many cars are sold in a week, in this case, from the number of cars sold by the salespeople each week, the sample data. Normally when you sort it, remember, right, what you have to do, okay, is you have to keep the frequency with the sample data. So if we were sorting this, 14 would be associated with 3, 19 is associated with 4, and so on. It's sorted already, so we don't have to do anything really. Or if for some reason we were sorting it from biggest to smallest, let's say, 7 we would move to the top, but 11, its frequency, we would move with it. And then 6 would be next, 9 we would move with 6, and so on. I hope that makes sense. I mean, I've done an example like this before as well. Okay, so for Q, okay, so again, we want to get each of the quartiles, right? I mean, the minimum's easy, that's just 3. So that's kind of obvious. The maximum is 7, okay? But again, the process is still the same. So for Q1, for instance, right? For Q1, the first quartile, we calculate our locator. There are 65 data values. So in this case, L would be 0.25 times 65. And of course, you want to use a calculator for that. Namely, 0.25 times 65, that's 16.25, which is a decimal, of course, decimal value. So now we round up to 17. I know normally when you look at this and you round, you're thinking, oh, we got to round down to 16. Not in this process. We round up no matter what to 17 in this case. So we need to know which data value is the 17th data value. That's what we have to figure out. Well, we know the first 14 data values are 3, right? Okay. The next 19 data values after that. So the first 14 are all equal to 3. The next 19 data values, okay, after that, so as I wrote down here, 15, 16, up to 14 plus, wait, what did I say? Up to 19 plus 14, which is 33. Let me add that. So from 15 up to, including 33, the next 19 data values, right? They're all equal to 4. So clearly then the 19th data, excuse me, the 17th data value then is 4. So Q1 is equal to 4. So again, let me say it again. If you were to imagine lining up all this data, listing it all, okay? The first 14 values listed would equal 3. The first 14 data values. The next 19 data values, which would be the 15th data value, the 16th data value, up to including the 33rd, they would all equal 4. So in particular, 4 would be the 17th data value. So that's our first quartile, Q1. And now we do Q2 and Q3. Well, for Q2, right, remember, what do? We calculate L, which is 0.5 times 65, right? I think before I wrote 0.50, but 0.50, 0.5, same thing. Doing so, we get 32.5. Okay, that's good. So because of that, we would round up to 33 because this is the decimal. So the 33rd data value, that is the data value in the 33rd position. 33rd, why is that TH? That should be RD. Let me just, let's just do it this way. What did I? The 33rd position is our median. Let me say it again. We're calculating L, right? Which is 0.5 times 65, okay? We have 65 data values. For the median, for the second quartile, we do 0.5 times that. We get 32.5 in this case. And so now that's a decimal. We round it up to 33. Now Q2 then is going to be, the median is going to be the data value in the 33rd position. Well, from down here, we saw that that is 4. That is 4. And because it's 4, that tells us the median Q2 is 4. 4 is the data value in the 33rd position. All right, that's good. Finally, for Q3, okay, let me just stop the recording.